Well, and I think this industry is kind of ever evolving. So it makes it a place of acceptance for you as a person to evolve and for you as your business to evolve.
I love bookkeeping.
Hi, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to the I Love Bookkeeping podcast. Today, Melissa and I are going to be taking a deep dive into, is bookkeeping a good opportunity? We're going to be talking about some of the benefits to starting your own business and why it's such a great thing to be a bookkeeper. Hi, Melissa. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So today we're going to be talking about, is bookkeeping a good opportunity? And I'm really going to be interviewing my co-host, Melissa, because she owns a super successful consulting and bookkeeping firm. First of all, bookkeeping does not require a degree. And I think that's something that there's a big misconception. You don't have to have a college degree to become a bookkeeper. So Melissa, I want to hear about, as CEO of Bookkeeping for Trades, tell me kind of your views on why it's great to become a bookkeeper.
Yeah. So first of all, I definitely want to touch on your point that bookkeeping doesn't require a degree. As CEO of Bookkeeping for Trades, I am obviously a huge advocate for alternatives to college degrees, just because it's not always the right fit for everybody. I think that trade schools and trades businesses are so important, and that, real world experience is just as valuable, if not more valuable than a college degree for certain lines of work. And this being one of them. You can get up and running within a matter of weeks, just going through, the bookkeepers.com course and start your own business. And there's really nothing else in the world that you can have that amount of knowledge and experience in one place and get your own business running that quickly. It is just such an amazing opportunity.
Well, and we have so many different people coming from different walks of life. And what I think is really amazing is that it's completely up to you. If you want this to be part-time, if you want it to be full-time, if you want to work virtually and travel, or if you want to be at home with your kids, or if you just want to work from home and make your own schedule. I think that's something that, especially with the pandemic that has happened in the last couple of years, I think people are really, really focused on having a work-life balance, as well as being able to make their own schedule and work from home. So tell me, with working from home and working virtually, how does that tie into being able to network your business?
I think the best thing about, our bookkeeping firm and the bookkeeping firm that you might be thinking of starting or that you start is that it can be whatever you want it to be. For us, my business partner, Morgan, and I are fairly extroverted. I'm an introvert that can pretend to be extroverted, but she is an extrovert to the fullest. So, for us, we do a lot of in-person events despite working from home, a lot of podcasts, online virtual conferences, in-person conferences. And, we're really just all about the networking in person and getting on the ground and being seen, even though we do work from home on a day-to-day basis. But the great thing about starting your own business and being your own boss is that you can do that if you're comfortable, or you can network to the extent of your comfort level. So, we're going to talk about that in a couple of episodes, networking for introverts, basically how you can make it work for you. Yes, we are going to get into that. Because as much as, in my business, we do tons of it and a lot of in-person and a lot of face-to-face. I am an introvert, so I feel like I can give people a lot of tips on how to do that without having a panic attack.
It sounds like you're a pretty big advocate for networking in person. Have you, for those who, especially with the times that we're in right now, how do you feel about networking virtually? Has that been a success for you?
It has. I'm actually, I don't want to say I'm grateful for the pandemic. It's been a really hard couple of years, and it's been, really tough for people that have lost people close to them. I think we all have. But what has come out of it is, I think, a little bit more acceptance of working virtually and a little bit more, less judgment. So I feel a lot more comfortable doing things virtually than I did pre-pandemic, where I feel like maybe working from home wasn't as acceptable. Zoom took off, obviously, during the pandemic. And now it's just everyone's used to Zoom meetings. But before, I'd have to, call a sales prospect and say, hey, actually, we're supposed to be on Zoom. And they'd be like, I don't know what Zoom is. And it was just always kind of, a clunky experience of trying to bring, the quote unquote real world to my virtual world. But now it's definitely more acceptable. I think that, for me, I'm less about in-person networking as I am face-to-face. So it is really important to me when I'm on sales calls on Zoom for both of our cameras to be on, because I just think that being able to see people's faces or their body movements, or their reactions to questions, it gets to let you know that they're real people, you're a real person, and you can connect better. So that doesn't have to be in person, but I do think finding that way to be face to face with people is important. So even if you just go on to like an online conference, or you're reaching out to people with a Loom video so they can see your face, I think that will definitely set you apart from somebody that's just sending an email.
And I think you bring up such a great point, because one of the best things that I see our students go through is that another reason why this is such a great opportunity is because there's so many different ways to network, and there's kind of something for everybody. And so that's one of the great things, is that this is such a flexible industry. You can kind of work as little or as much as you'd like. You can start off and you can just want a small business, or you can want a mini empire, or kind of a big empire like what you're running right now. There's kind of something for everybody. And I think that's so important for people to know, is that it doesn't have to be, your business does not have to be, you don't have to box yourself in.
That is so true. And it's also, it's never too late to start over too. I know several people in the BBL community that they started their business and they grew into a mini empire. And then they realized, actually, I don't like this. And they scaled back their business and they just have a small business again. And that's the great thing about being your own boss. You can work with clients if you want to, or don't. You can do bookkeeping, you can do taxes, advising, payroll. I don't recommend it. I hate payroll. But if you want to do payroll, you can, because you're your own boss. You can use the systems that you want. If you hate Slack, don't use it. If you, love Google Docs, great. And so I think you can create whatever you want. And I think a lot of people get bogged down by that, almost in a sense, when you're first starting, because you get analysis paralysis. I have all these choices and I don't know what to choose. Y'all just choose something and just do it, because you can always change it. You're never going to be boxed in. Just like you said, Hannah, you can always start over. You can always change. You can always adapt. And so, the best thing that you can do is to just get started.
Yeah. Today's show is brought to you by Keeper, the one app to run your bookkeeping business. Keeper helps you get faster client responses with your own custom branded QuickBooks integrated client portal. Finally, you can say goodbye to those pesky spreadsheets full of uncategorized transactions. Keeper also helps you catch those embarrassing coding errors before your clients do. And with Keeper, you can generate beautiful custom reports that your clients will absolutely love to read. To find out more, go to keeper.app. That's keeper.app. Mention I Love Bookkeeping to get 20% off your first 3 months. Again, go to keeper.app to find out more. Thank you for listening. Well, and I think this industry is kind of ever evolving. So it makes it a place of acceptance for you as a person to evolve, and for you as your business to evolve. Because just like you said, it kind of gives you the freedom to change your mind and to do what you want and to try something. And just like you said, just try something. If it doesn't work out, then you can try something different. But I think this is such a unique industry, because you have the flexibility to choose what you want and to change it. And I think that's really saying a lot, because there's not a lot of industries where you can get into it and change your mind on how you want to do something. So I think that's such a great point for people to know, is that it's really up to you. And sometimes I think that can be overwhelming for people when they're given so many choices. But just like you said, it's just like, you just got to try something. And if it doesn't work out, that's okay. I think one of the greatest parts about owning a bookkeeping business is that you've got this kick-ass community of bookkeepers who are going to be helping you and cheering you along. And I think you and I have seen that firsthand in our community. It's such an uplifting group of people, and it's so helpful. And I think one of my favorite things about the community of bookkeepers is that there's really no gatekeeping with information and like industry secrets and tips and stuff. I think it's such an encouraging community.
It really is. And I have to say, like, especially like the first kind of group of us that took Ben's course, back in the beginning, it's been 5 years, and there's been so many, or 6 years. How many years? It's been so many years. And, there's been so many, versions and upgrades and things like that. But I know, the first group where we used to do in-person events and, in Ben's living room, or, separate events that we would do. And it was just so refreshing to find my people, right? Everyone was so welcoming and weird and accepting, and there's no judgment. And I'm the type of person that I will just like brainstorm just ridiculous ideas, because I feel like, the more ideas you come with, something's going to stick, right? Throw a bunch at the wall, something will stick. And none of them have ever been judgmental when I come to them with just some kind of insane idea. And so I always tell them, okay, well, I'll try it out. I'll let you know how it goes. And so then I always am bringing them my failures, right? Because that happens, and failures will, lead to successes. And they've always been so amazing and, so welcoming. And I have to say that is honestly the best thing. I have to say, BKX is my favorite time of year because I can meet those people in person.
Me too.
And I'm not extroverted, but I think it's so easy to be myself, even though I'm an introvert, because I know that nobody there is going to judge me. So it is like being home. I think it just feels so comfortable. And so if you guys see me at BKX, you are welcome. Please come up to me. If you want to, you can hug me. We can talk. I'm not scary. I do have resting bitch face. I'm not going to lie. I do. I look really serious, but I'm not. I think Hannah would say the same. So, go talk to Hannah too. And Hannah, we're going to have to do an in-person I Love Bookkeeping episode at BKX. We're going to have to figure that out somehow.
We are absolutely going to do that. And I think Ben would be on board. So we
Awesome.
could definitely do a live episode from BKX, and that would be so much fun. Talking about BKX, one of the things I really love seeing is how people have taken our course, Bookkeeper Launch, just to become a bookkeeper. And it's really led to other opportunities. And I saw that a lot this summer at BKX. For example, Alyssa Lang, she bounced from taxes to bookkeeping, and now she is known as the workflow queen. There's so much opportunity to evolve and to add new things to your repertoire in this industry. And there's always going to be demand. I feel like everywhere I go now, I tell people I work for bookkeepers.com, and they say, oh, I need a bookkeeper, or, oh, I know somebody that needs a bookkeeper. So if there's anybody listening out there who's nervous or wondering, is there a demand? I can assure you, there will always be a demand for a good bookkeeper.
A good, well-trained bookkeeper, which is what you're going to get at bookkeepers.com. Yes. I honestly, have had a 0% success rate hiring anybody that did not go through bookkeepers.com. Every single one of my bookkeepers, every single account manager has come from this community. And I feel like it's, the culture that we've created in our company is directly related to the culture at bookkeepers.com. So it's absolutely amazing. And I think it's a really great thing to tell people, even now with the certified digital bookkeeper, that certification shows that you are just above just somebody that walked off the street and said, hey, I'm a bookkeeper. It shows a level of professionalism that really, really stands out to clients in all industries.
And I think it really, I think the community of bookkeepers that you and I have gotten to know, it really speaks for itself with the success that you see, not only professionally, but also personally. I feel like owning a business and starting a business really adds to your personal development as a person, or as a human being, I guess. It really creates kind of a new layer to people. I mean, do you agree when you started a business, do you feel like you developed as a person as well?
I definitely have. I think over time, and I think like we mentioned at the beginning, it's been ever changing. I feel like every year my business looks different than it did the year before that, and it looks better, I'm reaching new goals every day. And I think, the big thing for me is to just give myself grace in that, because, I see people starting and I'm like, man, I wish I would have thought about that, but I'm 6 years into this. Well, you know what? Just because I'm 6 years into this doesn't mean that I can't learn from everybody else, the new things that they're doing, the improvements that they're making, and implement those things in my business, because it is ever changing. The big thing that I love to focus on every single day is this the best thing for my clients? Is this the best thing for my team? And if the answer is yes to both of those questions, then I know that that's something we need to move forward with. And I think that keeping that focus has really helped me. And so, every decision that I make, I just tie it back. Is this right for me and my team? Is this right for me and my clients? And if that answer is yes, then it's a good fit for us.
Well, we hope you guys have enjoyed listening to why bookkeeping is such a great opportunity. Stay tuned. Our next episode is going to be all about, does bookkeeping have a future, and what the future of bookkeeping is going to look like. Thank you so much for listening. I'm Hannah Robinson.
And I'm Alyssa Honan.
And we are your co-hosts of the I Love Bookkeeping podcast.
I love bookkeeping. Here's a little shout to all my friends working hard at keeping the books. You want to change your life, you want to grow that biz, it's not as hard as it looks. Be a money guide, a profit coach, step up your game and see